Welcome back to another episode of With SONAR. I'm your host, Luke Falasca, of course, joined by my co-host, Kyle Taylor. We've got a fantastic lineup for you today. Don't forget, we will be going on later in the episode. We will have a special guest, the president of a very, very respectable trucking company, so stay tuned for that. We'll come back to you in just a minute. But right now, Kyle, I think we've got some interesting things to talk about here with what's going on with the pipeline situation.
I hope you're not talking about my sales pipeline because my managers are going to be eating me up again. No, Brad, Joel, if you're looking at this, don't worry, pipeline is in order. No, but the Colonial Pipeline.
The Colonial Pipeline.
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. They all came over and they decided to have a little bit of issues with their cybersecurity. No,
cybersecurity. What do you think? They wouldn't even know. I don't even know what cybersecurity is. Who am I?
So funny thing is, I didn't even know about it until I actually had a prospect reach out to me on Sunday and said like, "Hey, can you send me some information about what's going on? Because is this going to have an issue with capacity?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about? What?" And I looked into it and I was like, "Oh, ransomware! Did not see that coming." No, so if you guys had, if you looked at been on our website, John Kingston, our diesel market expert, our editor at large, I think is what he has his title as in his signature. Funny to bring that up, but so what's actually happened is that there's been this huge cybersecurity risk, and there's ransomware, and so now we're having issues and outages in the Southeast. I believe Racetrack has reported about 65 outages as of this morning. Lowe's has reported 3 facilities. Flying J has reported 2 facilities, really to be focused towards the Southeast.
Right. Very much on the Southeast.
Not really hitting across the board, but it also, just like capacity, we have seen diesel and gasoline prices really starting to not skyrocket, but start to increase, and this is
definitely inching up a little bit, and this isn't going to help, especially here in the Southeast, where gas prices tend to be a little bit lower than they are in other parts of the country, particularly the Northeast, West Coast there. So we will start to see that trickle in a little bit. Now, it's interesting, though, there was a certain job posting that came up not long ago, right?
Yeah, Daybook.com had a recent job posting for some company out of the Alpharetta, Georgia, manager of cybersecurity. And if you can guess who that job was for, you would be right, the Colonial Pipeline. So just in time. Don't want to. Hey, listen, they got a lot of issues going on.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah, better late than never. But always welcome the trolls after you see. Well, looks like we are now going to take this serious. We should probably hire someone.
If I recall correctly, the hacking group that actually hacked the Colonial Pipeline later issued a statement that they were sorry that they had disrupted the flow of I guess people or consumers that much. They said they meant to just get a quick payment from this. They didn't actually mean to hurt anybody. And now that the trickle-down effect is having such a big effect here in the Southeast, I guess they feel a little remorse. I don't know.
I think it's actually pretty hilarious that a ransomware or some black market, whatever you want to call them, said, you know what, we're going to put out a statement.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm really sorry. Thank you for your money. Did not think that we were going to disrupt the complete flow of fuel coming into the Southeast. So, lo siento.
Our bad. Mea culpa.
It's kind of insane, but no. So that's actually just throwing a couple wrenches into this whole.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at we're coming into, or not really coming into, but April being a very soft marketplace for the United States. If we're looking at tender volumes, really demand starting to lower down. But additionally, this has been what we've called out. There's always something.
Always something.
There's always something going on. That's why, SONAR being what it is, just the most up-to-date real-time market intel out in the market right now, when it comes down to being, in most real time, you're not going to see this in the rate for another couple weeks. And that's really going to be really focused on the Southeast region as well. So you're really not going to see a lot of things until those invoices start to go out. And so that's where this becomes extremely important. And as we prepare for hurricane season.
Hurricane season is coming up.
I thought hurricane season was over, but
you're from Florida. Is it ever over?
It's never over. But no, it's never over. Clearly didn't catch the reference from my guy Luke over here.
No, I didn't. Not at all.
but no, there's always seems to be something going on. But so what else do we got? What should we transition here?
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? People they might want to listen to us a little bit longer, but we've got when you have an ace up your sleeve here who's ready to jump on the call with you, you have to bring them in. So please welcome the president of BCB Transport, Rick Larkin. Rick, thanks for joining us today. And by the way, for those watching, can we give a little bit of love in the comments here to Rick's background and like the whole studio setup he's got going on there? It's fantastic. If that doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what does.
Glad to be here. Y'all doing okay?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. I mean, another day of the life, living in paradise. So tell us a little bit about BCB and kind of how you got to be sitting in front of a camera. Like, what was that transition like?
Yeah, so we opened up back in March of 2011. No trucks, no drivers. Brian Brzezowski, my business partner, and I, and here we are just a little over 10 years later. We're a little over 300 trucks, about 35 million in brokerage. And this part right here, this came about 2.5 years ago when we had to find a way to get in front of our drivers, had to find a better way to communicate to our folks on safety. And that's really what it came through. And then, came SONAR, then came, taking some of the information and sharing it with your customers, much like we do our drivers. So it's been a pretty cool thing. I have learned to wear another hat or two, and that hat would be to try to be like a TV person. I don't even know what you call it. What do you call it? A VJ from MTV, to be somebody else in the morning, because at 7:15, I become Sir Rick, and that's who I am on the show. I don't play the owner at that point. I play Sir Rick, and my job is to share information and get us ready and get us excited for safety.
Oh, wow. You're the anchor now. Okay,
yeah.
You're
there. You go.
you're the BCB Transport Live anchor. All right.
Awesome. So how did this all stem? So was it all just to try to get a little bit more information to your drivers, or was it more customer specific that this whole production kind of began?
Yeah, it was always. So if you can, we're on steroids now. I mean, our studio is really done. It has, and I know you can't see, but we have like real studio lights up here. We have 3 cameras. It's crazy, but before in the same room, we had a desk with microphones, wires everywhere. And Dave Dover and myself started off just kind of talking to each other. We had Bob in our safety department, kind of talking as well. And just trying to use the weather and stuff to get better, just to get some kind of information to your drivers on pre-trips, on post, on accidents, on anything to get them involved with safety.
That's fantastic, Rick. Love that story. Now, Rick, I guess there's been a lot going on in the market right now. It's been extremely volatile. We know that. And something that I think is on a lot of people's minds as we head into the summer months here is, what does tomorrow hold? What's going to happen tomorrow? And obviously we don't know for certain, but are there things that you're looking at to help give some type of indicator or signal as to help prepare you for what's likely to happen?
Yeah. So I'm gonna share this with you right here. It's your data. Hey, I love the SONAR data, by the way. Y'all do a great job on giving a lot of data. Man, there's a lot of information. But here's what I tell our customers. Here's what I tell our sales, everybody, is that you got to go back and kind of discover when the new norm was. And for me, that new norm happened somewhere here around August the 14th through the August the 22nd. To me, those are the only historical numbers that we can really use today. We can't go back, right? We can't use last year. We can't even use the year before that. You've got to go back somewhere. And again, for me, I use that August 14th to the August the 22nd because that's when the new norm started happening. And what you find, whether it's your outbound tender rejections, your inbound tender, your haul, is when it comes to pricing, I just tell you what I do. I try to find the period between August the 14th and current that kind of talks in the haul, in the inbound tender rejections, outbound tender, what's going on in that certain city. I try to find the most similar time. And the cool thing is almost every time. So, it's data, right? But you can really find some consistency in the pricing on what happened during that period and what's happening right now. And again, the challenge I think on that is data. Is is, what does data mean? And for the trucking companies or brokers, whoever that is, their data has to be good. Y'all know that, right? I mean,
Yep.
if your data is junk, then this doesn't mean anything. So this starts meaning a lot more when you're pricing, when your data is consistent to what you're using in your TMS system.
No, that's phenomenal. And so when you noticed that norm, was it more pricing started to stabilize? Was it you guys kind of went through new bids? What else kind of went into that? Hey, this is about where I think normal is going to be.
So normal to me is, I look at it two ways. The number one thing I use for pricing is we use our historical data on our trucking side to make sure where do we need to be at, because I think trucking and brokerage are two different animals, meaning where you are on trucking right now. Every trucking company should know how they're doing with their own data. Do they need a rate increase? How are they going to get that rate increase? And then use your data here to help back into that. What does the market say that lane's getting? I know you have some new information as well that kind of tells you that tells a trucking company on a bid perspective. It says, here's what you're getting. Here's what we see everybody else is getting. I think it's just, when you look at your own data on the asset side, what do you need to get to where you're going? And everybody's got that magic number. Where do you want to get going to? For us, that magic number, I won't share it. It's $6,100 a week per truck of line haul revenue. That's the standard we live on. About $120 an hour is also how we measure it. When it comes to the brokerage side, let's face it, you want to just use this to try to give you the best idea on what to price today. We're not doing any bids on our brokerage side. We're not touching them. We may go out 30 days, but that's as far out on the broker side that we'll go because this market is so volatile.
Yeah.
I like that, Rick. And I think you're spot on there. There's a couple things there. Obviously, a big one sounds like, number one is establishing or identifying when that new norm happens and just accepting the fact that, like, listen, this is where we are right now. These are the parameters we have to work in and we need to pivot inside of, as opposed to like, okay, when it comes back down here, we'll do this, right? Or when it gets to this level, we'll do this. It's kind of like, okay, who cares about all that? If that happens, great. But for right now, this is where we are. This is how we're going to act to make the most of it. And I love those goals. I think they're fantastic. You're spot on there. You've got real tangible goals there on the asset side, as well as, you kind of know where you fit right now to make the most of the brokerage side. What would you say is like, is there a next phase kind of in this new normal, would you say, right? Is there a next phase for doing longer term bids, or is this just kind of saying like, hey, like those don't have a place right now in this market, or at least not at scale, let's call it?
So I think that, to me, my belief is really this: at the end of the day, there is a way to get rid of that spot market. And that's to pay the carriers more money today. You may not like it, but if you want to get rid of the spot market, you've got to take that freight off. You've got to pay carriers a little bit north, right? A little bit more than what they're doing so they can take more freight. And I'm not saying this is the answer, but once that freight comes off the spot market for 60 days, hey, let's face it, it will start to normalize itself. Yeah. Because the broker or the trucking companies that can broker freight out, listen, we're going to make a lot of money during those 60 days. But after that, it will start to ride itself out. That's one strategy I would say, it will probably never happen. But I do believe with my whole heart is that if the shippers got together, I guess they're not allowed to probably do that. But if they could get together and say, hey, let's give all of this spot market freight to these trucking companies, all of our asset base, let them broker it out for a little while. It's going to clear up that spot market. It will clear it up because it takes all that $3.15 a mile of freight off. You're paying $2.75. And guess what? If we have $2.75 a mile on freight, we're not going to broker it out for $3.15. We're going to start to normalize that spot market freight is what would happen. But, it's just a funny market. I don't know what you all believe, but I say it all the time because it hasn't changed yet. It's still 12 to 14 months. I don't see how this market can change. And at the end of the day, is August the 14th, August the 22nd, is that the new norm? And it may be.
Yeah.
We've changed our habits as people.
Yeah, well, I almost take it from looking back at after that snowstorm, that's a whole new norm for me, because we had this softening effect that came in right at, February-ish, right at the end of January. And so how did you, would you agree with that? Or do you see those two scenarios from August to, just after that big snowstorm where all of Texas completely shut down? Because on your chart, you're looking at Fort Worth. So it's a great chart to kind of see that end of your holiday season kind of slow down to that peak that's right behind your head, which is, that massive boom of demand right there.
Yeah, so it's we kind of do the same thing here. But I think when you go back and you look at the whole, you're going to see a lot of the same trends between August and even that snowstorm. Now that snowstorm, it changed everything we did here in Texas. That ice and everything. Let me tell you, so for a trucking company, I mean, it changed it so bad. I mean, we lost $1.5 million of revenue that week. I'll give you an example. We normally run out of Dallas to other states, outside of Texas, 170, 175 loads a week going somewhere else. We ran 4 or 5 that week. That was it. And you can imagine what happened. But again, to your point is that, man, did it ever change? Because in the next almost 10 weeks, I think, to the week, we've been able to capture that entire bit of revenue back. Would you have ever thought that? And that kind of goes to your point that after that period, rates went out of the roof, capacity changed, completely. And in 10 weeks, and that's never happened. When have you ever been able to really go out and capture money that's been lost? Never. But we did it during that 10 weeks following the storm.
Yeah, what a
absolutely
time
amazing.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be set up so right. And so one other thing that we've kind of been looking at is that there's this whole 2020 to 2021 has been a demand side issue. There's just been a massive increase in demand for trucks, demand for food, we're seeing fuel, we're seeing all these demand side issues where there's just not enough.
Demand for my Xbox.
Oh, that's a lie. Demand for Luke over here, it's on an all-time low. But no, it's
oh, get out of here. This is what I have to put up with, right?
Yeah, no, every week. And so when you're looking at that, are you buying more trucks? Are you trying to just stabilize? Is there a strategy out when you're talking to maybe other trucking companies who are like, hey, we learned our lesson from 2018. We don't want to oversupply the market. Is that a conversation?
So, it's a conversation we have within our own company for sure. We purchased 85 more trucks, but it wasn't in addition. It was to replace. 100% our goal, during the pandemic, because no matter what, we weren't going to add any company trucks to our business. Not this year. It's going to be a year off. I think I learned the lesson from back from 2018, and even again back from 2014, when people went out and did it, and we kind of created our own demise, right? I think, what? As a trucking business, this is where you want to be at. And I don't believe that the driver shortage is going to fix itself anytime soon. COVID had a big impact on those companies, right? Those guys that had the training schools where they can only have one person training as opposed to 2 inside that with the driver trainer. That makes an impact on us on who's qualified to come work for a company of our size. You're going to have 2.5 years of experience. You're going to have a safe record. They're just not out there. It's a challenge still to find new drivers to come into this market. But again, I put that on the shippers, on us as trucking companies, that, if we want this industry to be a little bit better, we're going to have to pay a little bit more. We're going to have to quit making drivers sit for free. No longer are they allowed to get 2 hours free. That can't happen. We've got to use your data, the data that we have, to charge it back to the shippers and receivers to make this industry more attractive to younger drivers.
Yeah, it's obvious something's happening there, though. I mean, if we look at the chart just behind you, right? I mean, we can see just since, middle of August, like you pointed out, we hit a new all-time high, and we've hit at least two all-time highs since then, right after that. So, I mean, it's clear that the market is clearly pumping higher, and it's not just, it's not just like a one-off. It's maintaining that level, as you said, the new normal. So, when demand stays that high, to your point, I think there's going to have to be a shift of some kind here if we want to your point, stabilize the market in some form.
Yeah, so to that point, like what What do you think would bring this down to a different norm? So what do you think needs to happen in order for us to see a softening, to see a lowering in demand? Is it increased supply, or is it just, hopefully the buyers stop buying as much? What do you think?
Well, I think is one thing we do know is even in 2018, at the beginning of the year, when a lot of trucking companies thought that was the greatest moment. People went out and bought trucks. They thought these rates were here to stay. Is that America figures it out? When you look in your back door, every city right now, we have record warehouses getting built. I think final mile delivery is going to change a lot of this up. I think, I'll tell you my big belief I guess I need to go back here and look on the warehouse side, but in what we did back in 2018, 2019, let's just go 2018 through 2020, not much freight moved. These warehouses were jammed packed. They were just full. And then 2020 happened, right? COVID happened. We emptied out the warehouses. Hey, guess what? They're still empty. There's a lot of filling up going to happen right now. And I do think it's going to be a lot of full truckload, but I do think what's going to kind of soften everything in 12 to 14 months is going to be that final mile delivery. At some point, there's going to have to be a lot more local deliveries going on using big trucks, that goes out and tracks that younger group of drivers that has to be home to take care of their kids, to be a dad or to be a mom.
And maybe Elon Musk can hook us up with a little bit of Dogecoin. But
you almost say that?
Doge? Did I throw a Y in there?
Yeah, it was pretty close.
It's not Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank Dogecoin. Like, come on.
Accredited investors. Okay.
Accredited investors. I like what you did there, though. You might be onto something. Okay, that's how we're going to legitimize this. Let's go.
No, but adding those styles of trucks into the market maybe can bring some relief, but doubtful. Hopeful wishing.
I like it. Hey, quick question too from one of our very famous What the Truck podcaster, Timothy Dooner. He wants to know where the What the Truck pizza is.
You know what? I saw Dune today on his podcast. I was trying to send him a message. So I made one for him on Saturday, and I had the kids over. It was prom night. The kids came over, and they ate it before I got a chance to get a picture of it. Hey, Dune, I promise you it's going to happen maybe this week. I got to get the picture out but the kids ate it. The pepperoni, it was gone. I didn't get a chance to get a picture of it.
So big pizza guy. So are you in the oven, or do you have like a grill or even a pizza oven?
I got a brick oven. So we do. It cooks at 800 degrees. I actually cooked for Dooner and the Dude the other day on Wednesday. I had it out there, and we were making pizzas while I was talking to him. So like a legitimate brick oven pizza.
Wow.
If our boss, George Abernathy, president of FreightWaves, is watching, I think Kyle and I need to make a business trip down to come see you, Rick. We will definitely discuss business.
Vaxxed and waxed, so we're good to go whenever we're ready. So we're happy. Can't wait to get the approval from the higher ups to start traveling again.
You know what? You're more than welcome. We serve pizza here. We do a lot of cooking. That's why we're fat here. Everything's bigger and everything's better in Texas. Come on down here where the sun's always.
There we go.
Love it.
Oh, perfect. Well, tell us a little. So, look into the future. Where do you see your company growing? Where do you see you maybe specializing a little bit more? That's not what you're doing right now.
So I think we're going to continue. So our main focal point is this right here is everything we really do back here. It starts with safety first. So if you look at who BCB, we talk about the BCBs of trucking, and that says, the be safe. So BCB stands for be safe, communicate, and if you can, be on time. There's nothing more important than life. And that's what our goal is, to make this company a little bit bigger, you're right, but to share the word on safety, is to take it to other trucking companies that need that little shot in the arm, that need that culture from the top down, because it's not a bottom up thing. When you talk safety in this country, when you talk safety in trucking, it starts at the owner. And if the owners don't have that passion, don't have that care, don't have that belief in safety, hey, guess what? It's not going to work down there. So my whole thing is really to focus on safety. There's nothing more our drivers need, and I say our drivers across America, they need our support. The trucking companies, the shippers, the receivers, they need all of our support in keeping them safe on the road and making sure that we're doing what we can to help them out.
Larkin 2024 coming at you live. I love that passion. That is awesome.
I got a jaded history, brother. I got.
There we go. So tell us a little bit about where people can maybe, if they want to do business with you or they want to learn more about you, where can they learn that?
Yeah, so you can go to www.bcbtransport.com. We're on YouTube live as well. We have you can follow us on Twitter. You know, we have all the things. I don't know him, I'm a producer. He knows all this stuff, but we're on FreightWaves. We send our podcast out every day just to try to get a little excitement on here. Hey, listen, if you're excited, if you want to be part of a company that cares about you, that has a passion for you, it's BCB Transport. If you're a shipper out there, I'm not saying we have any capacity, because nobody does, right? Hey, but you know what? We'll be your friend while we charge you a higher rate, and you'll like it. So
might throw a pizza your way. Who knows? Give you a good call. Maybe even get you a branded vest. I mean, I think after this show, our president already told us that it's a requirement for all sales reps to have the vest on.
I love it. Rick, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. Kyle and I are gonna finish up the show here with some really important TikTok reactions to the viewers here. But absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll have you on again here at some point.
Y'all stay safe. Thanks for what you do.
Thanks, Rick. Absolute stud.
I'm about to go through a brick wall.
Break my computer.
No, the passion. The passion's got to be there, and it's so true. It's a top-down event. And I was actually talking to some of even our own SONAR sales reps, who I'm included in on that group. Is that the people who are successful with using SONAR and is the people that have that open mind, that have that passion, that understand, like, hey, listen, we can't continue to do what we've always done. I can't just post the load, call as many people until I'm blue in the face. There's got to be something different out there. And so that's where SONAR becomes that tool for our team, so that you can look at things different. You can be more strategic. You can actually explain why you're doing something and not just say, well, you're getting a higher rate.
No, you're absolutely correct here. Love it. I know we've only got a little bit of time left, so the last 2 minutes here, I think we've got some TikTok reactions here. They gave us a big TV right over here that you can't see, so we should have a better view than last time. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
We got. Whoa. Hey, I hate it when that happens.
Well, first of all, why are you making the pancakes on the smallest burner you have? Why didn't we go over to the left one, maybe?
And also, it wasn't even on. So,
it is on. You saw the flame.
Nah. Next one. Give us the next one.
Oh, I feel it. I feel it coming.
Yeah. See that? That's just like, oh! See, that's a bad day.
Someone's not getting their deposit back, that's for sure.
That's a bad day.
Oh my God. I can imagine he's not completely sober.
You can still, 5 seconds, you can still eat that pizza.
Dude, that pizza's, that is cheese side down.
Yeah, it's 5 seconds.
Oh, geez. But can you imagine he's a little intoxicated?
Yeah,
it's probably like midnight. He's just like, oh my God,
takeout.
this pizza.
All right, see what we got here. Ooh. Ooh. Oh! Oh man,
my heart hurts on both. Like you had a long day. Like, man, I could really use a drink. Second, you're like, I'm trying to start up my savings.
Oh man.
Maybe I got my kid. I'm got a little piggy bank going for him.
If you're trying to invest loose change, Acorns will take care of that for you.
There you go. Rounds up to the next dog.
Rounds up to the next cents.
Free ads. That's what Luke's about. So no, this was a great show. I was so happy today.
Not a sponsor of the show, by the way. That's just that one's for free.
You got to give a little bit out for free.
Give a little bit out for free. But no, they don't need it.
I believe next week we have FreightWaves Live. So
FreightWaves Live next week. And
so tune in next week. We got more content coming to you guys.
All day.
And we'll see if you might get a little bit of a viewing from the Luke and Kyle show. But
love it. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great day, people.